Yes, yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Built in Buffalo broadcast. I'm your host, ARich, Akeem Richens. If you don't know me by now, please get to know me. This is Built in Buffalo. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Tuesday. I hope everybody feels as jolly and as uplifted as I do, man. And it's definitely a great thing to see our Buffalo Bills look the way we look, as dominant as we looked last night. 12-3 in 2020. During a year where it's all this messed up shit going on. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. The change in presidential elections, presidency, COVID and the pandemic, all the things that possibly could go wrong went wrong in 2020, except for the Buffalo goddamn Bills. And it's a good thing to see, man. It's a good thing to see. Uh, shout out. Hey, Clary, what's going on? What's going on? I got my regular in here, Brooke. What's going on, Brooke? Christopher from Pennsylvania. What's going on, bro? 12-3 Buffalo Bills. It's a great time to be a Buffalo Bills fan. Big dubs, as Jordan Poyer dished out to his fellow fan base. Big dubs, and we've been rocking with that since he dished it out. Shout out Robert. Christopher said is amazing. Stacy Walker says great game. I added you, except let's chat and go and get to know each other. Hey, that's a story for another chat, right? We're going to get into Dave. What's going on, man? Let's not waste no time. It's been a long time coming for our Buffalo Bills, and I'm not going to get into no games today. I'm not going to get into no other talks. We have other shows coming up in the very near future that's going to break down Miami Dolphins and going to break down playoff games and whatnot. But today, it's all about Josh Allen. A lot of people refuse to want to admit that Josh Allen is the MVP of this NFL. I'm waiting for an analyst to step up and be bold and be courageous and say, Josh Allen is the MVP of this NFL. And in my mind, there is no doubt about it. Josh Allen has been playing elite football for the entire 2020 NFL season. And in my opinion, besides being a Buffalo Bills fan, the bias aside, it's a legitimate argument. And I have three reasons in why I feel Josh Allen is the MVP of this NFL. Before I even Before I even start with my three reasons, which y'all think? Josh Allen for MVP. Couldn't agree more, says Dave. Patra Eaton says JA for MVP. Yeah. It's feeling like that. I didn't get the notification, but here we are. But we got it here anyways. Dave, we really appreciate it. Next time we want to get you that notification. If you want me to text you on the side before we get on, I will definitely do so. But Squish the fish, yes, definitely. But Josh Allen is the MVP. And my first reason why Josh Allen is the MVP of in the NFL is because of his unprecedented leap in progression. Now, I've been following sports over 30 years. I gave away my age a little bit. I like to consider myself still young looking individual, but I've been following sports over 30 years and I have never seen the leap in progression that Josh Allen has made in my lifetime. I've never seen this leap in progression from a quarterback in my lifetime. We're talking about a kid before this 2020 NFL season started. There was 35 NFL quarterbacks the last 2 years, 36 quarterbacks the last 2 years that started at least 10 NFL games. 10 starts last 2 years between 36 quarterbacks. 35 quarterbacks threw for at least 300 yards during that span. Josh Allen is the only quarterback that did not throw for 300 yards out of 36 quarterbacks the last 2 years that had at least 10 starts. Josh Allen leap in progression is tremendous. And it was kind of an embarrassing statistic, right? Sam Darnold's of the world, Baker Mayfield's, 35 goddamn quarterbacks threw for over 300 yards. Josh Allen had 27 starts over the course of 2 years and failed to throw for over 300 yards. Let's take a look at 2020, right? 8 games with over 300 yards passing for Josh Allen. In the 2 previous years, 27 games, 35 other quarterbacks did what Josh Allen could not do. But in 2020, Josh Allen had eight 300-yard passing games. And on top of that, he had two 400-yard games. So he goes from not having anything in 27 starts to having eight 300 yards and two over 400 yards. That is an unprecedented leap in progression. Let me get some thoughts. My brother DM3, smash that like button. Please smash that like button because I think I'm speaking facts. I think if you give this video to the NFL committee boards that's rooting for the MVP or deciding the MVP, I think we could sway them to Josh Allen being that MVP. Uh Elliot, what's going on, brother? What's going on? What's going on, Elliot? Crushing records and taking the media's names with him. Of course, all the guys that said he wasn't going to be the guy, all the media analysts, all the experts, all the guys that get paid millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars to critique NFL quarterbacks. And Josh Allen had the harshest of criticisms coming out. So what he's able to do now, uh, with that first stat that I just named to you, that I just mentioned, is definitely unprecedented. Sean Thompson, what's going on, bro? Natural leader, head on straight. The kids gets it. No ego. It's all about the team. We're so lucky to have him. And I love the way you put this statement right here. This is everything that we want, everything that we've been waiting for, and everything other 20 other quarterbacks, other teams that don't have a quarterback want, right? And this is what Josh Allen is doing. Steve, MVP should be about progression or development for the year. Definitely, most definitely. And again, Josh Allen's development is unprecedented. Mark Allen, 22 red zone rushing touchdowns. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that, Mark, because you brought up an excellent point. You notice he had 631 rushing yards in his rookie season. He had about 8 or 9 touchdowns. This season, He doesn't have that amount of rushing yards. Why? Because he trusts his arm. He trusts where he can throw the ball. He trusts his ability to make all the throws and make the correct and accurate decisions. So his rushing numbers went down, but his TDs as a runner are still the same. So we're getting the best of both worlds from Josh Allen right now. DM3 says every Bills player would love would tell you the best teammate they had as a QB, and I think it's obvious. You can see the genuine love the Buffalo Bills have for each other. It is a genuine love. Now, I don't know how other NFL locker rooms are. I don't know how other NFL fan bases are, but this Buffalo Bills fan base, this Buffalo Bills locker room, you could tell this is a group of guys that actually like each other outside of football. And that is a great thing to see. Last comment before I dip into to what I want to say, Shane. The Bills are the best team in NFL, and Allen should be MVP. He keeps getting better. He definitely does keep getting better, and I'm going to continue my persuasion of Josh Allen being MVP of this NFL. According to PFF, we by the way, you could say what you want about Pro Football Focus. On primetime football games now, primetime television now acknowledges PFF. When you see the starting lineup there, you see under middle linebacker or under safety or under offensive tackle, you see their PFF rank. So that goes to show you how big of a deal PFF really is, where they're showing their goddamn rankings on primetime football. So PFF, according to their ball location chart, Josh Allen was ranked 20th in 2018 in uncatchable passes thrown from a clean pocket. His rookie season, he was ranked 20th in uncatchable passes thrown when he's not being hurried. In 2019, this same PFF chart, Josh Allen ranked 36 in uncatchable passes thrown from a clean pocket. Now, the last time I checked, there was 32 teams in the NFL. Josh Allen ranked 36 in that department. Well, let's fast forward to 2020. In 2020, Josh Allen has the lowest rate in uncatchable passes thrown from a clean pocket at 10.9%. That is better than Aaron Rodgers at 11.2%. That is better than Russell Wilson at 11.3%. And that is better than Drew Brees at 11.7%. Josh Allen's improvement from an accuracy standpoint and accuracy perspective is unprecedented. Let's think about this. Let's think about this and correct me if I'm wrong, right? Josh Allen, accuracy wise, went from Tim Tebow 1 year to Drew Brees the next year. Do you know how crazy it is to say some shit like that in the same sentence? Josh Allen went from Tim Tebow and forget a year. Let's call a spade a spade. The Buffalo Bills was in the playoffs in 2020 this year, January. The Buffalo Bills started their new season in September. It's a span of 8 months, if you want to call a spade a spade. In a span of 8 months, Josh Allen done went from Tim Tebow to Drew Brees. And that, my friends, is ridiculous. That, my friends, is unprecedented. I want to get your thoughts on what I just said, man, because I really think that people are not really paying attention to exactly what's going on with the progression of this quarterback that nobody wanted, that everybody harshly criticized, that everybody thought he could just throw the ball far and he'll never be an accurate passer. He went from Tim Tebow to Drew Brees in 8 goddamn months. That is unprecedented. let me get some thoughts. Let me get some comments. Let me get some thoughts. You could tell I got a vibrant personality. My energy, it might be infectious to some, but I love what we're doing. I love what I'm witnessing, and I'm glad to be a Buffalo Bills fan. Let me get my brother. Let me get my brother Scott on here because I wasn't able to get his graph on the show. And Scott done made a tremendous graph comparing Patrick Mahomes to Josh Allen. And we definitely going to post it in our Built in Buffalo social media platforms tomorrow. Uh, Scott, I believe he is still the only QB without a red zone touchdown. I mean, Scott, it's 3 years, baby. It's 3 years. And every time he gets in the red zone, they have to show the stat, right? They show it. It doesn't matter if it's a 1 o'clock game, 4 o'clock game, primetime game. They show the stat and they keep talking about it. You know, when they keep talking about kickers never missing extra points, then all of a sudden they miss an extra point. When you talk about guys that hasn't fumbled in 10 games, then the guy fumbles first time in 10 games. I kind of low key feel like primetime football and these media guys want Josh Allen to throw a red zone pick or have a red zone turnover because of the amount of times they talk about it. Can y'all agree or disagree with that? But Josh Allen, man, what he's doing is unbelievable. Every Bills player would tell you he's the best QB he's ever had. I have to show that again because that statement is a true statement. Let me get some more comments on here. The chemistry. We Sean, Derek Thompson, the chemistry. We seen it before the game. Josh Allen threw the ball at Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs was rattled a little bit. Josh Allen was doing his little dance. It was the chemistry, the touchdown. John Feliciano tackled Lee Smith. It looked like one offensive lineman tackling another offensive lineman. It's just a beautiful thing to see. Stacy converted on every fourth down. This team is great. Now, how disrespectful. I'm glad you brought this up. I'm going to continue my MVP talk for Josh Allen, but I'm glad you brought this up. This is how disrespectful and how good the Buffalo Bills has become. On fourth down, on our own 30-yard line, we fake a punt, go for it, and convert, where a safety throws the ball to a defensive back. This is not a receiver, an offensive skill position, converting to an offensive skill position on this fake punt. This is a safety in Jaquan Johnson. And with that throw, hey, he might have the same amount of yards as Cam Newton that whole game with that throw. Who knows? But a safety in Jaquan Johnson completed a fourth down conversion to a defensive back in Cyron Neal. That's how disrespectful the Buffalo Bills treated the New England Patriots, and it was definitely a great thing to see, a sight to see. David, he also taught to be humble and a great leader, most definitely. Prime time Josh Allen. We saw the numbers. We see the numbers with prime time Josh Allen. This is what America wanted to see. America wanted to see Josh Allen do one or two things. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan and if you're a lover of football and you got that natural love and ability in your heart, you want to see Josh Allen be successful. You want to see him perform and perform well. If you're a hater and you the Nick Wrights of the world, or if you were the Todd McShays of the world, or the Dominique Foxworks of the world, then you will have some hate in your blood and hope that Josh Allen is not successful. So you could come on Twitter and you could come on these social media platforms and you could come on your media outlets and talk shit about Josh Allen the next day, whether you're one way or whether you're the other. Josh Allen is still must see TV, right or wrong. And uh he is the MVP of the NFL because of the first reasoning behind it is his leap in progression. Number two, let me move on. I'm gonna get to the comments. Let me move on. Number two, Josh Allen is the MVP of this NFL because he has the ability to make others around him better. And that's in coaching and that's with players. I love Brian Move the Ball. Brian Move the Ball is a head coach in waiting. he has done an excellent job with the development of Josh Allen. Brian Dable has done an excellent job learning through his tenure as an offensive coordinator in the national football ranks and in the college ranks. Even when he was with Kansas City and Miami and Cleveland early in his career, he went over to the Alabama Crimson Tide. He learned some RPOs. He learned some read option things. And Brian Dable has did a good job converting everything that he's learned over the years and basing it in his scheme, in his system, as part of his schematics. But as much as he developed Josh Allen, some guys just have to have that it factor. And Josh Allen has that it factor. As great as Brian Dable was, he's been an offensive coordinator since 2009, and he was never considered to be a head coach or a head coach in waiting all these years before, right? 2009 when he was I believe he started with the Cleveland Browns, and then he was with the Miami Dolphins. Then he was with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2012 when he had Matt Castle. He's been around the NFL circles for over a decade with the New England Patriots organization, and he's never been considered to be a head coaching candidate until now, right? Why is that? I'm going to tell you why. I got two words, one name: Josh Allen. Number 17 of the Buffalo Bills is a transformational type player. He's an ascending kind of player. And his performance and the ability from our quarterback is going to promote Brian Dable into a head coach in this NFL. And we all know there are only 32 head coaches in this NFL. That is an honor to be a head coach in the NFL. And Brian Dable should be thinking. They should be obviously thinking each other, but Brian Dable definitely has Josh Allen to look to when he surpasses his offensive coordinator role and goes into his head coaching tenure. What do y'all feel about that with Josh Allen and Brian Dable? Uh, Jeff Davis says his decision making, anticipation, reading the defense, ball placement, and his accuracy have all improved greatly. He is the Buffalo Bills franchise quarterback. Jeff Davis, I really appreciate your knowledge. I really respect other knowledgeable Buffalo Bills fans because we can have intellectual dialogues about a good football team. And this is a great comment by my brother Jeff Davis. Mark, Buffalo's Bills undefeated in primetime games this year. Thanks to our leader Josh Allen. Thanks to our leader Josh Allen, Brian Dable is a head coach in waiting. Josh Allen has the ability to make people and players, coaches and players better, and he has proven that with Brian Dable. Moving on to the player perspective. John Brown's best season before coming to the Buffalo Bills. I know this was last year, but this is just the moxie. This is just what we see from Josh Allen. John Brown, career year in 2015 with the Arizona Cardinals, he had 63 receptions, 1,003 yards, 7 touchdowns. He comes to the Buffalo Bills and has a career performance: 72 receptions, 1,060 yards, 6 TDs, eclipsing his career numbers from 2015. That's not this year, but that just goes to show you that Josh Allen, he just makes guys better. He's not Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, he got OBJ. He don't know what to do with OBJ. What? You don't know what to do with OBJ? Bring OBJ ass to Buffalo and find out what Josh Allen do with OBJ. And that's kind of like what Josh Allen did with John Brown, ascending his game, making him a better, more important player with the Buffalo Bills. But I'm gonna give you some 2020 examples, right? Some this year examples. We want Josh Allen to be MVP this year. So Cole Beasley, best season, 2016 with the Cowboys, 75 receptions, 833 yards, 5 touchdowns. This year, I hate the fact that Cole Beasley it hurt his foot yesterday. 33 yards from 1,000 yards receiving, a career year. I think Cole Beasley's a Pro Bowl receiver. If the NFL acknowledged the slot wide receiver position as a position, he would be a Pro Bowl receiver. Nevertheless, he comes to Buffalo in 2020 with Stephon Diggs, with another guy. That's what's even more impressive. He has another guy taking targets away from him, Cole Beasley, and he still had a career year. 82 receptions, 967 yards, 4 touchdowns, career year for Cole Beasley in this 2020. And can we not forget this beast of a NFL wide receiver, the best wide receiver in the NFL. Stop mentioning DeAndre Hopkins and Julio Jones and Michael Thomas if you're not going to name Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs comes to the Buffalo Bills. Now, there is a reason why Stephon Diggs wanted to come to Buffalo. He was always viewed. I always thought Stephon Diggs was top 10, definitely top 12 wide receiver. In my opinion, he was a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL with the Minnesota Vikings. But there is a debate. Is he better than Adam Thielen? Obviously, the Minnesota Vikings think that Adam Thielen is better than Stephon Diggs, right? But Stephon Diggs, nevertheless, he never made a Pro Bowl, but he was a well-respected receiver and a top 10 to top 12 wide receiver in this NFL. And that is not a shabby thing at all. But Stephon Diggs, he still knew his role. He still knew his worth. It's kind of like a 9 to 5 guy getting paid $250,000 a year, but he quits that 9 to 5 $250,000 salary to become an entrepreneur, right? And bet on himself. And now he's making $500 million a year. And that's what I feel Stephon Diggs did in his situation. He could have been content being viewed as a top 12 receiver. He could have been content having 1,000 yards receiving back-to-back years. 2018, 102 receptions, 1,021 yards, 9 TDs. 2019, 63 receptions, 1,130 yards, 6 TDs. And before the season, we're thinking, you like, what? You want to leave Minnesota? You don't get the ball enough. You just had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. What are you talking about? You're a diva. You're this. You're that, this, and the third. Stephon Diggs. But what has Stephon Diggs came to the Buffalo Bills and done? In 2020, Stephon Diggs has 120 receptions, 1,459 yards, and 8 touchdowns. We're talking big boy numbers. We're talking Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams type of numbers. We're talking elite kind of numbers. And we now understand, we now see why Stephon Diggs wanted to leave Minnesota Vikings, even though he was putting up good numbers with the Vikings. He has now turned in from a top 10, top 12 receiver to a top 3 receiver. And in my opinion, the best wide receiver in this NFL. And that is because of the man throwing him the goddamn football in Josh Allen. Now, don't get me wrong. Stephon Diggs helps Josh Allen out tremendously. The Buffalo Bills organization, that front office and that brass did an excellent job and have the exact blueprint of how you want to develop and build your football team while developing your franchise QB. There is no doubt about that. But the reason Stephon Diggs is having the season he's having, the monster numbers that he's having, the career year that he's having, is because of Josh Allen. Josh Allen's ability to make other people, not even players, not just players, other people, players and coaches around him better, is the reason he is the 2020 NFL MVP. Let me get y'all thoughts on my second stance on why Josh Allen is this MVP. Oh yeah, the comments are flying. Dave, I think no doubt. I think no doubt if the Bills go and win this Super Bowl, Josh Allen gets MVP and MCD gets Coach of the Year. In my opinion, MCD is Coach of the Year. He is the coach of the year. Buffalo Bills, the team. Now he may now I think Josh Allen MVP status is stronger than Sean McDermott's coach of the year status. And the reason being is because the people saw the Buffalo Bills coming last year. You know, we saw the Buffalo Bills coming. The speculation was definitely floating in the air, floating in the horizon that Buffalo Bills would take over the AFC East and become champions. Of course, you have to do it. And now that we've done it, Sean McDermott is definitely should be in consideration for Coach of the Year. But they saw Buffalo coming from last year, right? Nobody's seen Josh Allen coming like this to this magnitude. We seen Josh Allen coming, but not to this magnitude, right? We didn't see Josh Allen coming to the magnitude of from Tim Tebow accuracy wise to Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers accuracy wise. We thought he would probably get to another tier, maybe get to another tier, but we wouldn't think that Josh Allen would go from uh make a 16% completion percentage jump from year 1 to year 3. Make a 10% completion percentage jump from year 2 to year 3. We wasn't thinking along those lines with Josh Allen. We thought he would improve, but definitely not to this magnitude. And that's why I think he has a stronger chance of getting MVP than Sean McDermott has of getting coach of the year. Petra, a cohesive team, Super Bowl champions. Of course, we got to go do it. One game at a time. As excited as we are, as happy as we are, we still have work to do. We still have to go out and do the job. We still have doubters. We still have naysayers. We still have haters. And I want to shed all of those up. And the way to do it is continue winning football games and win playoff football games and get to where we all hope to go. Dave, they better. They better. We hope so. We hope so, Dave. What's going on, James Lucas? Josh Allen should be MVP. Of course. I definitely agree with that sentiment. Brooks says analysts are too afraid to admit that they were wrong about him. And they can't admit that McBeenan moved the ball, built around him correctly, and changed the system to fit his strengths. And how eloquently put is this from Brooke? This is an excellent comment, and you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Robert Taylor, that's wild, bro. Yeah, it is definitely wild. The numbers from Josh Allen is crazy. It's crazy. How many QBs? Shout out my brother Kenny. How many QBs have zero first round picks on offense and still ball out? There you go. They ain't they what an excellent comment. And this is why knowledgeable football fans are appreciated because Josh Allen is indeed the only first round pick on that offense. And that leads to my segue and believing be based on this comment and based on the stats I just alluded to that Josh Allen has a special ability to make players and coaches better. He's always had that it factor. Josh Allen has never been as accurate throwing the football as he is today. But he went to Wyoming. He won 8 games back-to-back seasons. Wyoming before Josh Allen got there, Wyoming wasn't winning 8 games. Last year with the Buffalo Bills, 58% completion percentage. He was still the worst in the NFL in completion percentage, but the Buffalo Bills was still 10-6. So he had all those things that you cannot coach, Josh Allen has. And all those things that Josh Allen didn't have, he can effectively work on and be coached into. And that is what we're seeing with Josh Allen. And that is why he is the MVP of this NFL. Couple more comments before I move into my last reason on why Josh Allen is indeed the MVP. Is it realistic to say that the Bills could win the Super Bowl? Definitely. Matthew, most definitely. We're 13-3. Excuse me, we're 12-3. Think about how loaded the AFC is this year. The AFC this year is equivalent to all the years the Western Conference in the NBA was loaded. There was one point in time in the Western Conference in the NBA where you had all 8 teams making the playoffs. All 8 of them won north of 50 games. And in the AFC football conference in the NFL this year, the AFC is stacked. And the Buffalo Bills had the second best record in a stacked AFC. That says a lot. And the only two losses are against the Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs. That says a lot. And to answer your question, because of those things, yes, it is definitely realistic to say the Buffalo Bills can win the Super Bowl in 2020. Lockman says for sure. My brother Joe English, I think they should do what's necessary to keep Brian move the ball. If he goes to the New York Jets, he may regret it. Now, Brian moved the ball. The one advice I would give him, because I do want to see him become a head coach. Uh, you work hard. You work hard. You don't you don't work to stay at a level. You don't work. I wouldn't work as a cashier to stay at a cashier. I wouldn't work as a warehouse employee to stay at a warehouse employee. There's going to come a point in time where I'm going to want to move up to supervisor, where I'm going to want to move up to manager, where I'm going to want to move up to owner, right? We can't, nobody wants to be stagnant. And if you're performing in whatever you do in life above the standard, you in turn deserve a promotion. So I do want and I do feel that Brian Dable should take the opportunity when it's presented to him to become a head coach in the NFL. But don't go and rush it, because that is a prestigious position. And that might be your one and only shot in becoming a head coach in this NFL. So I would, just a casual fan, if I had to give advice to an expert like Brian Dable, like Brian moved the ball, I would say take the best situation possible. Don't just take any head coaching job because you want to become a head coach and then, God forbid, get fired 2 and 3 years down the line. Take the best opportunity possible. Understand your struggles as an offensive coordinator in the past, when you was with Kansas City and had Matt Castle and you wasn't successful. When you was with the Miami Dolphins and you had the Miami Dolphins quarterbacks and you wasn't successful. When you had the Cleveland Browns, you was the offensive coordinator for Cleveland Browns and you had those quarterbacks and you wasn't successful. Use those tumultuous situations that you've been through to overcome where you are in today to make a wise NFL decision. Go someplace where there's a quarterback in place. Go someplace like the Chargers, right? Go someplace where there is a nucleus where you can be successful. So that would be the only advice I would give Brian move the ball. If he can't find that situation, I absolutely believe he should continue to be our offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. Because guess what? We talk about salary caps, right? With players and how much this guy's worth, and can we afford this guy, and can we afford that guy? Salary caps do not apply to coaches. Salary caps do not apply to coaches. So if he doesn't get the best opportunity possible, pay Brian Dable whatever the hell you got to pay him to keep him, to retain him as the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. Why? Because he is the best offensive coordinator going right now, and you do not have a salary cap in terms of paying coaches in the NFL. So that's just how uh, I feel about that. Uh, Let me get into my last reason before I take more comments. Let me get into my last reason why I believe Josh Allen is the 2020 NFL MVP of the league. Josh Allen numbers stack up with the rest. The fact that Josh Allen is even in the same conversation as Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes is the reason alone, in my opinion, why he's the MVP of the NFL. Does that make sense? Let me go ahead and say that again. Josh Allen being in the same conversation as Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers is the reason alone why he's the MVP of the NFL. Let's put these things into perspective. Aaron Rodgers is a 9-time Pro Bowler. Aaron Rodgers is a 3-time All Pro quarterback. Talent wise, people pick Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback ever. That's before Patrick Mahomes came along, of course. But think about that. Tom Brady and all his championships, media analysts, media experts around the NFL, around the league, scouts around the league still believe that Tom Brady's a system guy, a system quarterback, and would pick Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady. That alone is crazy, right? That alone is crazy. Aaron Rodgers, we know he is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And we know that Aaron Rodgers is a all pro Hall of Fame first ballot quarterback. So what he is doing this year is expected. We expect these numbers from Aaron Rodgers, especially when his opponent's record is 95, 129, and 1. That's bad football. That's a lot of bad football teams that you're playing. That's a very bad record. 95, 129, and 1 is the opponent record of Aaron Rodgers on top of the fact that it's Aaron Rodgers. We expect him to perform the way he's performing. Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is a once in a generation type player. Once in a generation kind of quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is. Once in a generation. Patrick Mahomes signed an unprecedented contract of $500 million. You don't sign a player to $500 million if he is not amongst the elites of the elites of the elites. And that is what this generational player in Patrick Mahomes is. So what he is doing, we expect him to do. What Patrick Mahomes, the numbers he's putting up is expected from media analysts and fans across the NFL. I'm not trying to take nothing away from these players. They're having great seasons, and I'm definitely not trying to overshadow what they've done. But at the same time, it is expected. LeBron James, you can argue, could have been the NBA MVP for the last couple of years running, right? You could have argued he could have won MVP the year Giannis won MVP of the Milwaukee Bucks. But the NFL, they gave it to Giannis. You know why? Because Giannis had a hell of a season. And LeBron now, even though he had a great year and his team won the championship, and his numbers in year 20 or year 18 look similar to his numbers in year 2 or year 3, the NBA, the committee is used to LeBron James. That is why he didn't win MVP. The NBA is used to LeBron James putting up the numbers he puts up. So when the new guy in Giannis come along and puts up these numbers that's similar, if not a little better in some statistical categories, when he comes along, he gets the MVP. Well, the NFL should do the same goddamn thing because nobody saw Josh Allen come like this. Nobody thought Josh Allen would put the numbers up that he's putting. We thought that he would be better. We thought that he will be improved. We didn't think he would be up there with similar numbers as Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. And not all his statistical numbers are better, but they are all similar. And because they are all similar to numbers, to players that's expected to already get those numbers is the reason Josh Allen is the MVP of the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, 4,000 over 4,000 passing yards, 47 touchdowns. Mahomes, over 4,700 yards, 40 touchdowns. Josh Allen, over 4,300 yards, 43 total touchdowns. We cannot ignore what Josh Allen is doing. QBR rating, Aaron Rodgers, 83.9 QBR. Patrick Mahomes, 82.7 QBR. Josh Allen, 81.6 QBR. We can't ignore what Josh Allen is doing. Aaron Rodgers, 95 and 129 and 1 against opponents' records. Aaron Rodgers played against two teams in the top 10 in terms of passing defense. Uh, Patrick Mahomes played four teams in the top 10 in terms of passing defense. Uh, Josh Allen played six teams in the top 10 in passing defense. Josh Allen, average defensive defense he's played is ranked 15th. Average defenses Patrick Mahomes played is 17th. Average defenses Aaron Rodgers has played is 22nd in the NFL. Josh Allen numbers are similar than Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. And Josh Allen has a better resume than both those two quarterbacks. And Josh Allen is not expected to have the same numbers as the greatest quarterback possibly of all time and the guy that just got paid $500 million. Those are the company that Josh Allen keeps. And because of the company that he keeps, he is the NFL MVP. What are y'all thoughts? Let me get y'all comments. Let me get y'all takes. Let me get y'all perspectives on 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 Josh Allen and my opinions on why he is the NFL MVP. Kenny, Allen needs 262 yards to reach 5,000 yards, total yards. That's insane. And you know what? 262 yards is obtainable. 262 yards is a joke to Josh Allen now, isn't it? Before coming into the season, we was like Josh Allen never threw for 300 yards. 35 other quarterbacks that had at least 10 starts threw for 300 yards. The 36th quarterback within, which is Josh Allen, he hasn't done that yet. And now we're looking at Josh Allen, and some people say Josh Allen may throw for 550 yards this week. And we have to look and think about that and actually say, hey, Josh Allen, you think he's going to throw for 550 yards? Well, you know what? He might. He might actually throw for 550 yards. It is legitimate that we can say this about Josh Allen right now. That's amazing, man. That is, I have to go with the theme. I have to go with the theme word of tonight's broadcast. That is unprecedented. What Josh Allen is doing. I'm going to assume this is going somewhere. Everything goes everywhere. What do you talk about exactly, James? What are you talking about exactly? The assumption is Josh Allen's the MVP. That's the somewhere I was definitely getting to. I like this take. Plus the strength of their schedule, I have to agree. Robert Mulligan, did I persuade you a little bit? Did my takes persuade you a little bit? I'm glad you agree. Stacy Walker agrees. Elliot says, "Get him, Rich. I try. I'm one of those guys. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm very emotional. I'm very vibrant. I'm very authentic and emotional about the Buffalo Bills. I'm more emotional about the Buffalo Bills than a lot of the things my significant other would tell me, and she don't even like that. She thinks I love the Buffalo Bills more, and I'm not even going to answer that question. Kenny, Robert, also, Allen played through injury. Of course, Allen played through injury, but no, people don't want to hear that. That's why I was thinking about mentioning that, but people don't want to hear that. People, especially the Josh Allen haters. The Josh Allen haters, they're going to say, well, you know what? You're healthy. He was out there. He played. We don't want to hear that, and that's a legitimate gripe. But we as Buffalo Bills fans know he was injured. We as Buffalo Bills fans know he wasn't healthy, and we as Buffalo Bills fans know how tough Josh Allen is. See, I don't agree with that. Who is the most valuable in the NFL? Was it Josh Allen or was it him because we didn't expect him to do well? It's now see, it's both. It's not that we didn't expect him to do well. We haven't seen what Josh Allen has done. We've never seen in our lifetime. I'm over 30 years old. I've never seen the progression, the leap in progression Josh Allen has made. I've never seen that before in my lifetime, watching football for over 30 years. Now, his numbers are comparable, his numbers are similar to Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. We didn't expect Josh Allen's numbers to be comparable with the elites. I think that's shocking. I think that's shocking. We're not talking about a guy that was always good. We're not talking about a guy that people always viewed that was going to be great. Josh Allen was bad. Josh Allen started bad. He wasn't one of those guys like, oh, he's going to be the next great thing. He wasn't. He wasn't spoke of as the next great thing. He was spoken of as a guy that could not get better. They said that Josh Allen could not improve accuracy. How are you going to improve accuracy? You can't do it. That's what the media outlets said. That's what experts said. Not only has he done it, he's done it to the degree of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And we cannot take that lightly. We have to look and we have to take into account where this man Josh Allen has come from, and I take these things into account. Uh, yeah, Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Rodgers. I love the numbers he's putting up. But come on now, come on. Aaron Rodgers' numbers is great, and I expect him to be, especially when he's playing that type of schedule, especially when he's playing these type of opponents. I expect Aaron Rodgers to be this great, like he's been this great the last 10 years. I expect this from him. So, what Josh Allen is doing, Josh Allen is having similar numbers to Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes with a better resume, a better schedule, a harder schedule, a tougher schedule. His traits wasn't supposed to carry over to elite status. And it is. And and it's not because of the numbers. If he was putting up numbers and this was Matthew Stafford and it was Matthew Stafford putting up these numbers, I would say Aaron Rodgers, I would say Patrick Mahomes. Yes, because Matthew Stafford has been putting up good numbers. Matthew Stafford has been putting up elite kind of numbers for some time now. We know Matthew Stafford can do this. We didn't know Josh Allen could do this. Josh Allen was getting compared to Mitchell Trubisky. Oh, we hope Josh Allen don't need to take a step back like Mitchell Trubisky did with the Chicago Bears. And Josh Allen didn't even take a significant step forward. And they already talking about a step back, right? Josh Allen was compared completion percentage wise to Tim Tebow. Josh Allen was the worst deep ball passer in the NFL. Nobody even talks about that no more. Josh Allen being the worst deep ball passer in the NFL seems like a distant memory now. And again, unprecedented. Ungoddamn precedented. James. So that's just how I feel about it. JA17 for MVP. Robert, he was unselfish when he needed to adjust his game plan since we are a team that truly goes week to week. Uh, Richard, Richard Smith. Allen will have to show consistent seasons before NFL gives him NFL MVP. Why? Why does he have to show consistent seasons? Lamar Jackson didn't show any consistency with his seasons. Lamar Jackson has a drop off in play. Lamar Jackson has a drop off in statistics, and he won MVP last year. Lamar Jackson went from All Pro, MVP, NFL quarterback to not making the Pro Bowl in this NFL. So um, somebody have some balls. Somebody in that NFL committee has some balls Somebody in the NFL committee has some cojones, have some gumption to understand and realize what Josh Allen is doing compared to the elites and where he has come from. Somebody has to take into consideration the team, the organization he is doing it for. This is the Buffalo Bills. It's been since 1995 since the Buffalo Bills been relevant. These are historical things, unprecedented things that Josh Allen is doing. And what person in the NFL, what media analyst, what guy that has a vote in the NFL committee is going to have enough balls to step up and say so? Because there's going to be backlash behind it, of course. Of course, there's going to be backlash behind it. But if there is any year that Josh Allen, if there's any year that a committee should vote the unexpected, it is 2020. If it's any year, it's 2020. Let me get your thoughts. Let me get your comments. Bro, stop with the narrative. That's BS. At no point he was ever bad or horrible. Josh was. What do you mean at no point he was never bad or horrible? When you're last in completion percentage, and let's take account into what everybody says the talk is, what the narrative was. How is that BS? How is at no point he was ever bad or horrible? When you're 58% completion percentage, and there is 32 teams in the NFL, and there is 32 quarterbacks in the NFL, and you're last. You're last. You're not second to last. You're not 23rd. You're not 28th. You're last. What are you talking about? Last at something is horrible. We got to call a spade here. So I disagree with you. Stacy, he can make anyone great. 13 different receivers in 1 year, just amazing. And you could tell we was going for the 14. We was going for the record. Taiwan Jones, he maybe that would have been TJ Yeldon if he didn't get COVID. Who knows? But Taiwan Jones had an opportunity. He was open in the end zone all by himself. The ball just hit him in his chest. Otherwise, Josh Allen would have had a record of most touchdown passes to many different receivers in one season. So uh uh things happen. Taiwan Jones, who knows? He may get a shot next week. Now imagine Allen doing his thing with a full stadium. So excited to see his gameplay live. I can't wait. Can't wait. Like Bart Scott said several years ago, and he should have trademarked it. Can't wait for that to happen. Get some more comments before I go out here. Get some more comments. Love it. Wish fans could be definitely. How about sign just outside Foxborough saying if Bills fans voted the best? How disrespectful is that? How disrespectful. And I love it. I love it, by the way. I love the disrespect that we have. We have Buffalo Bills picture in Foxborough before the game, bigging up the Buffalo Bills. Then we come to Foxborough and dominate them. So that just goes to show that the picture, that the billboard, the Monday night performance shows that the billboard of the Buffalo Bills in Foxborough is warranted, right? It's definitely warranted. Hey, we got 58 people in the house, man. ARich, Akeem Richens, built in Buffalo. I appreciate everybody that's been following along and with the dialogue, whether you agree or disagree. I love and I appreciate a knowledgeable fan base. I appreciate knowledgeable individuals that can get on as humble human beings and have a debate or a discussion about the team we all love. We all want to see our team win the Super Bowl. We have different directions on how they may get there, but we all want to see our team be successful. ARich, Hakeem Richards, built in Buffalo. Smash that like button, man. Definitely smash that like button. I appreciate y'all. Let's get some more comments in here before I head out. Allen has more total yards and TDs than Lamar has last year when he was a unanimous MVP. Hey, Josh Allen numbers this year will be better than Lamar Jackson's numbers last year. Of course, rushing aside, Lamar Jackson had 1,200 yards rushing. Uh, Josh Allen is not doing that, but he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to do that because he's confident in his ability to throw the ball. He's confident in his ability to scan the field in the pocket, roll outside the pocket, and make the necessary throws. Lamar Jackson, as great as he is, Lamar Jackson is not a great natural passer of the football. Uh, Lamar Jackson, to be successful, he needs to have his run set up his pass. If his run, as long as he doesn't discontinue the fact that he's a special runner, Lamar Jackson is going to be a successful quarterback and he's going to be a good passer as long as he can have his run set up the pass. And that's the main difference with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. But Josh Allen numbers, you know, blows out Cam Newton's 2015 MVP numbers. Josh Allen numbers is unbelievable, unbelievable. Dan Orlovsky stands up for Josh. Oh, hey, gotta shout out Dan. Gotta shout out Dan, Adam Shine, Dan Orlovsky, Colin Cowherd, Michael Robinson, Chris Sims. We gotta shout these guys out because these are there are some. They're not all. There are some guys. There are some analysts that got it. There are some analysts that's quote unquote woke and they understand what's brewing and what's happening with the Buffalo Bills, and they see the ascending progression with Josh Allen, and what he is able to accomplish this year. So, shout those boys out. James, Josh Allen, without a doubt, is one of the best quarterbacks in MVP in this year, but MVP against a quarterback that has 400 more yards and only one loss in this season is not happening. I don't know that. Once again, I don't know that. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He's playing elite football. He's that dude. He's that guy. But not happening. Josh Allen has played. If you look at Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen numbers over the course, I believe Colin Cowherd had the statistic. Over the course of the last 7 games, we didn't play this season, this game against Miami yet. So over the course of half a season, Josh Allen numbers are better than Patrick Mahomes numbers. This is not 2 games or a month. Half a season, Josh Allen numbers are better than Patrick Mahomes numbers. And throughout the course of 16 games, Josh Allen numbers you could put up there toe for toe with Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's the MVP. That's the MVP. Stacy, definitely said that already. My brother Cody, I ain't get my brother Cody on here. Let me get my brother Cody. Chris Sims, Colin Cowherd, our big JA17s. We all can't wait to see Nick Wright get covered in ketchup and mustard. I hope so. I hope so. Again, one game at a time. One game at a time. Let one opponent at a time. My main focus is definitely the Miami Dolphins right now, but I hope we definitely get to see that. Jim Rome is definitely a fan too. Shout out Jim Rome. Shout out Kenny. Shout out Jim Rome. You're absolutely right about that. Sean, will the AFC Offensive Player of the Week again this week, or maybe Diggs? One or the other. It's one or the other, right? Again, we're going to see what the NFL does. Think about this, and I'm glad you said this. If Stephon Diggs wins Offensive Player of the Week, it is because, yes, he's put up great numbers, but it is because Josh Allen has been putting up monster numbers week in and week out. And it's because Josh Allen has been the player of the week 4 times already. That is the reason. If Stephon Diggs win player of the week, it is because Josh Allen, the NFL committee, is now used to seeing Josh Allen as the player of the week. And if Stephon Diggs is the player of the week, then guess what? They could use that same sentiment and make Josh Allen the MVP because we always used to seeing Aaron Rodgers up there. We're going to continue to be used to seeing Patrick Mahomes up there. But now this guy, Josh Allen, has come out of nowhere and he has similar numbers to these 2 guys that's consistently up there every year for MVP. This guy comes out of nowhere. This guy is the MVP in the National Football League. So look out to see who is the player of the week. If it's Stephon Diggs, that's because they're used to seeing Josh Allen, and they need to use that same sentiment to choose their MVP. Gene, what a clown that puke Nick Wright problem with Josh puke. Nick Wright problem with Josh Allen. I don't know. I don't know what Nick Wright problem is. He tries his best to not seem like a hater. And he tries his best not to seem like a hater when you come with factual stats. But week in and week out, as Josh Allen progresses and continues to play great games, the more that Nick Wright can result to stats and his numbers and his stats and his facts that he has to stick to are dwindling week by week. Uh, Next season, lock. Next season, Allen 50 TDs, 5,000 plus yards, 73 or 75 completion percentage. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens. It's been a long time since the Buffalo Bills fans didn't have to look at next year before the conclusion of the current season. And this year, uh, we are fortunate where we don't have to think about the draft right now. We don't have to think about next season and what these guys going to do and what this guy's going to do and who we may get, who we may not get, what we need to improve the roster. Don't think about none of that shit right now. Enjoy this moment. Think about our Buffalo Bills in the thick of the playoffs. Think about our Buffalo Bills as legitimate Super Bowl contenders, and let's enjoy this ride and see what happens because 2020 could be the year our Buffalo Bills hoist up that Lombardi trophy. Great show, brother. Next time, show some passion. Now, I'll try, my brother. DM3 to go. DM3 to go. Midweek mindset. Tomorrow, 8 or 9 p.m. DM3 will be back. The GOAT is back on your live broadcast tomorrow night. So I'm looking forward to that. Really, he is right now. Damager Dave. Damager Dave. You know what? Through your comments, I could see why you got that first name. I definitely could see. Really is right now. But that's a good comment. You've been holding up. You've been holding your own. You've been holding your own. You've been disagreeing with me, and you've been coming with knowledgeable things. So I can do nothing but respect that. I respect knowledge, whether you agree or disagree. So shout you out. Cody calling it now. Pat Mahomes not winning the MVP, either Rodgers or Allen. Gene, where my bro? I just missed my brother Gene. I just missed my brother Gene. Gene, I think zero. Jeff, damn right. Can't wait for Nick to get covered in ketchup. James, Diggs made some amazing plays though, breaking 2 tackles for a TD, that diving catch for a TD, 50-yard burner for a TD. Diggs deserved it. I wouldn't argue it at all. Diggs, Diggs is the best wide receiver in the NFL. Billy Harris, chill, bro, too soon. DM3, Diggs player of the week, Allen player of the month. Hey, you break it down lovely, DM3. You break it down lovely. There is a new beast in the East, and it's the Buffalo Bills. David Acosta, I couldn't agree more. And of course, Brooke, I love it. When people say knowledgeable shit, we all have to agree, and Brooke it definitely agrees. That's right, hell yeah, from Gene. Hey man, I really appreciate y'all. Josh Allen for MVP. Josh is the MVP. I really appreciate everybody that stayed in tune with the broadcast tonight. We're going to continue to stay consistently consistent and delivering the best knowledge possible, staying up to date with our transactions, and we continue to to get y'all blessings on our brand and how we run it. We try to come out with quality every time we come out, whether it's through posts, through pictures, or through content. So we really appreciate the follows and all the love we've been getting as of late, and it's a great time to be a Buffalo Bills fan, man, and we all should enjoy this ride because this is the start of something that us as Buffalo Bills fans should be getting used to because the Buffalo Bills, the way that Brandon Beane has constructed this team, we are built for sustainable success. And as fans, as football fans, we have to love and appreciate that. So once again, ARich, Akeem Richens, if you don't know me by now, if you don't know us by now, get to know us. We are Built in Buffalo. Look out for the midweek mindset tomorrow. Billsology later on in the week. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, and until next time.